I think it's on my Toodles. Hey Toodles, I know it's Friday, and I did my Friday Fed video already, but sitting around being kind of sick, with the stomach problem, my stomach's hurting and I'm not feeling too good, wanted to try to see if I can make another video. I was going to make this video not actually today, but one day this week I was going to make it, or next month. I've got two Morphe palettes here. I have the Ice Fantasy palette, and to let y'all know, it looks like this. For those who does not know what it looks like, I'm sure y'all have seen it. I also have the Morphe James Chares palette, and if y'all don't know, for those who are new to YouTube and have not been in the makeup world long enough, this is what my James Chares palette looks like. I love this palette. Of course, I have panned 2 shades in this palette, and I'm very, very excited. So, what I want to do with these palettes is I'm going to test the palettes on standards on which formula is better, this formula or this formula. I hear that Morphe's made different formulas on their palettes, so I want to check and see which formulas are good and which ones are not. I think the Ice Fantasy was made way before the James Chares Morphe palette. If you look, this one's thicker. The container is thicker than the James Chares one. James Chares is bigger than this one. By all means, I will show you it is bigger. James Chares palette is a lot longer and bigger. I do like the James Chares palette a lot. The Ice Fantasy is pretty. It's got a lot of, basically, it's a pastel palette with a lot of pastel colors. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do, with the pastel palette, I'm going to do an eye look on one eye and use the James Chares palette on the other eye. And I want to do an eye look with both palettes, let y'all see what they look like, both of them, in case you're wondering what they look like. I'm sure y'all have seen them. I'm sure you probably have them in your makeup collection or did and decided to declutter. I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to grab some shades. I'm going to do one eye and the other eye. Probably see what I can do to make it look pop, pop. So, I'm going to get into it. I'm really not going to show you the shades I'm using. I'm just going to do a look. So this look here that I'm doing now is with the Morphe 351 palette. So kudos on that one, right? I'm trying to do this and get it looking good. So y'all will know what it looks like. I'm just grabbing some shades, grabbing color, and just doing the color that I want to put on there. Making it look like something. I'm making it look like something. It's gonna look like something, something, something. I don't know. Will it be good? We'll see. Okay. Now this first look I did with this eye here, I did it with this palette here. This Morphe palette. I use this shade first. I put this shade in the inner corner of my eye. Then I went with this shade here. And I came back and used this shade. So that was the shade I used with this palette. This palette is not bad on the eyes. It looks pretty good. Let me do a few of these shades. I'm going to grab a few shades here. Like about 4 of these shades. And I'm going to swatch 4 shades for you. And then on the other hand, I'm going to do 4 shades of the James Chares palette. There's 4 shades of this palette. I just grabbed 4. So it's not bad. It is real pigment. It is very pigment palette. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I'm not going to say I don't love this palette because that would be a lie if I told you I didn't like this palette. That would be a lie. I do like it. Would I repurchase this palette right here again? This was given to me by a Makeup Declutter Swamp. But would I repurchase this palette again? No. Alright. We're going to go ahead here and do the James Chares palette. This is, like I said, what the James Chares palette looks like. I love this palette so much. I was so happy when I got this last year for Christmas, for 2020. I've been wanting this palette ever since it came out. Finally, my husband decided to buy it for me. It was like, yes! I was so happy. I was so happy to get this palette. So kudos to James Chares for making this palette with Morphe. For me, I'm not. Like I said, I wasn't feeling so good, so I'm like, I need a shower, wash my hair, take a bath, you know, I do. I have seen a lot of people take their James Chares palette and literally declutter it. A lot of them have been doing. I've noticed a lot of people. I've been watching a lot of makeup declutter videos, and when I watch them, I've seen a lot of people. They are literally decluttering the Morphe palettes. It's like they're not like the Morphe. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I do not know why I just did that. But correct me if I'm wrong. I heard that Becca is no longer going to be around. Jake and Becca is shutting down and there's going to be no more Becca. That's what I've heard. So if I am wrong on that, let me know, because there is a Becca product I used to have and I loved it so much that somebody gave it to me, and when I did a makeup swamp, and now it's like I can't, it's a high-end product, so I'd have to find it when it's on sale to get it. But then I realized, if Becca's going out of business, why should I buy that product? It's not going to be around, and I might like it, but it's not going to be around too long. So kudos on that one. Am I right? I'm right. Okay, and this is the look with the James Chares palette that looks like moi. Going into this palette, I use this red. I use this in the corner of my eye. Come back with this shade, and then I put this shade. So I'm going to swatch. I've done seen some shades. I do want to swatch in here. And I want to post the shades and show y'all. some of these shades and what they look like. So, I'm going to do that real quick. Alright. There's another shade in here I wanted to swatch, and now I forget what shade it was. Right? Let's go with another shade here. And these are the shades for this palette, the James Chares palette that I grabbed. Oh, it was that one in there. So here are the shades here. I did do both those. Oh, okay. Here are the shades for the James Chares palette. And the shade for that palette. I do kind of like the James Chares. If you like more southern look, like this would be a good palette. Kind of darker, bold looks, I would say, would go with this one. Because if you look at the James Chares palette, the James Chares palette has more beautiful, more shades. I do want to get the little mini James Chares palette because I want it for when I travel. But this is awesome. The only thing I don't like about Morphe palettes is they do not have a mirror in it. Yes, this has got a clear thing right here that tells the names, and you can look and you can see your face, but you can't really do a good makeup look like that. So the same with this Morphe palette as well. Yes, I did tape this to it like so, but yeah, you know, you see, but you can't really see your face. So, in all to all, I don't really like glitter shades on my eyes. I have the NYX Glitter Brilliance, but I don't wear them all the time on my eyes. So, as I coming in for the James Chares Morphe palette and the Morphe Ice Fantasy palette here, if I had to choose, if my house was burning down and I had to choose a palette to take, I'm definitely going to take my James Chares palette and not my Ice Fantasy palette. But to repurchase these palettes, if I was to repurchase one of these palettes, which I do want to repurchase the James Chares, I would repurchase James Chares palette definitely, then repurchase the Ice Fantasy palette. Do not care for the Ice Fantasy palette, but I do love the James Chares palette. So in my makeup collection, I would say I would go for the James Chares palette more than I would the Ice Fantasy palette. Other people may say other stories otherwise, but other than that, that's just how I feel. I mean, I've heard so many stories about James Chares did this, James Chares that. I've heard stories about Jeffree Star this, Jeffree Star that. I've also heard about who's the other one? Jaclyn Hill this, Jaclyn Hill that. I've been hearing a lot of things about some people on YouTube that has did a makeup collab with somebody that they have said some bad things or done something wrong. I really don't care what you guys did. So if you did something wrong, it's not going to affect me. I'm still going to support you. And, you know, like for Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, I support y'all no matter what. Shane Dawson is very close to me. It's in my heart. I love Shane Dawson. Family. I love family. So I consider Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, James Chares, Jaclyn Hill, and anybody else that has came up that has done a makeup collab with whoever you've done a makeup collab with. I'm going to actually literally sit here and say, y'all are family to me. And family is supposed to stick together. So, we're family. So, let's stick together. Alright guys, that is it for this video. If you like this video, and give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, then you can thumbs it down. But I'm hoping this video will get lots of likes. I'm hoping I get a lot of more subscribers. Hit the subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't always do a video like this. This is a video that I thought would be good because I do have 2 Morphe palettes. I'm not into Morphe at all. I'm not into buying Morphe products because, well, they were kind of high end, and I can't afford to buy a lot of high end makeup because with this COVID and stuff like that, I can't always go out and buy high end makeup because I just don't always have the money to do it since I cannot work because of COVID. Because I do not want to get the people that I have to work for sick, and I've been getting sick a lot lately, so there's lots I need to do. So until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of more videos. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Bye, guys.